right, everybody, here we go. Good morning. Carson Meredith with you. It is 10:30. It is Sunday, March 30th, and it is an alert day. Here we go. Still on track for one, maybe two rounds of severe storms this afternoon and this evening. One round for sure. That second round, that supercell threat, still a little iffy. Still a little iffy, even this close to the start of this action. So let's just jump right into it. I'll do my best to answer some questions here over the next few minutes. But let's just show you what's happening on radar. And so far this morning, everything's been fine, as expected. We weren't worried about severe weather this morning, and there hasn't been any. There's only been a couple of lightning strikes. But more than anything else, it's just been showers. That's all. A couple pockets of showers at the moment, one of which has been through our far southeastern counties in the last hour. Greene, Taylor, Adair, Marion County. You guys have seen some of those showers in the last little bit, but they're moving on out now, moving out towards Lexington and Richmond. And we've got more showers that have been with us across our far western counties, DuBois, Perry, Crawford counties in particular, over the last little bit. So everything, for the most part, is on track at this time. It's kind of a waiting game to see these showers out to the west near Paducah and what they're going to do. Are they going to hold on and keep moving through the region, keeping us cloudy, keeping the instability in check, even if just by a little bit? A little bit's better than no check, right? Or will the showers fizzle out and we get a few peaks of sunshine for a couple of hours this afternoon? That's really going to decide if we have supercells this afternoon. We're going to have that big line of severe storms tonight. That's a guarantee. The question is, will we see any supercells ahead of that main line? We're kind of waiting to see how all of these little showers across western Kentucky and middle Tennessee react. They keep going north and east, or do they just fizzle away? Can you tell I'm tired? I'm drawing squiggly lines on the map. Let's show you the severe weather risk. It has not changed. There was no upgrade overnight last night. We all still remain under that level 3 enhanced risk for severe storms through this afternoon and tonight. Now, let's break down the threats. Let's start with the tornado threat. We have that 10% risk in yellow, covers all of us, which means that within 25 miles of a given point, so your house, within 25 miles of your house, there's a 10% chance we'll see a tornado today and tonight. That sounds like a lot, but it's really not if you think about it. That means there's a 90% chance that there won't be tornadoes within 25 miles of your house tonight, right? So you got to think of it that way. However, it's still a threat that needs to be watched, especially with the supercells that might develop this afternoon. There could be spin-up tornadoes along the line tonight, but the supercells could have slightly stronger tornadoes. And that's where you see these black lines come into play. This is a hatched risk. That's what we call it in the weather world. That means that the risk for a strong tornado is also present today. Could there be a strong tornado, EF2 or greater, within the line of storms tonight? Yeah, it's not out of the question, but I really think if we're going to see a strong tornado today, it's going to be with any supercells that develop during the afternoon. All right. I think the biggest threat, the most widespread threat, is damaging winds with the line of severe storms tonight. It's a 45% risk to see damaging wind gust this evening, especially with the line of severe storms. That is rather high. That's elevated. That's kind of the main driving force for the enhanced risk at this point. So damaging winds certainly still looks to be the main threat, but we cannot ignore that tornado threat at all. There's still quite a bit of wind energy to work with as we go through the day today. Let me go to the comments. 921 of you watching us on the social media platforms this morning. We appreciate every single one of you. Let's see. And just like last night, forgive me for the silence. I tried to skim through the comments. See what kind of things you guys want to know. Any chance of this going to a moderate risk? I'm leaning towards no at this point because we're still kind of socked into that cloud cover. That's not going to completely wipe away the severe risk today, but it might keep that supercell potential in check. And the Storm Prediction Center said earlier this weekend that the main reason why they haven't gone with the moderate risk was they weren't so sure if we were going to see full clearing skies. They weren't so sure if we were going to see those showers move out. And indeed, we still have those clouds and a few showers out there. So more than likely, this would be an enhanced risk, stays an enhanced risk, but we'll see. And, at this stage of the game, it really doesn't matter. There's a substantial threat for severe weather today and tonight. Michelle's asking, why aren't we on the app? I just fixed that problem. So should be popping up here in just a second on the app. My apologies. Let's see. Nancy's daughter is coming home from Hendersonville, Tennessee. What's the best time to travel? Anytime before 5 o'clock. Anytime before 5 o'clock. If she can get home earlier in the day, the better. So I hope that helps. All right. So I'll try to get as many questions as I can. I'm kind of on a time crunch here. But let's keep going with the forecast discussion. I'll show you the big picture view of radar, okay? Two things to watch. First is this widespread shower activity across Ohio and eastern Kentucky, eastern Tennessee. That will continue to lift north and east. Now, the question is, well, let me take a step back. Here's the front. Here it is. Here we go. It is not too terribly impressive yet, but it's moving into a much more favorable environment for severe storms in the coming hours. That's why our risk is high, or it's elevated, I should say. So the front will continue to push eastward throughout the day, and the question is going to be in the middle. How much clearing do we see in this area? Right now, we've got showers still, which is good. But if those showers dissipate and we see sun trying to peek through during the early afternoon, that would enhance the risk for supercells, and that could make the main line of storms later tonight a little more intense than it already looks like it's going to be. And if you look, as I stop the radar, if you look down into southern Missouri and Arkansas, back in here, the satellite imagery is showing some clearing. Right in here, if I can draw. There you go. So I still can't rule out, once this last pocket of showers either moves north and east or dissipates, I still can't rule out seeing some decent clearing skies, especially across western Kentucky. And that would really enhance the sorry, guys, I'm tired. That would really enhance the supercell threat across western Kentucky and possibly here into wave country too. The timeline, if you missed our newscast last night, the last time you heard from me was last night when we were chatting in this studio. We were talking about the supercell potential starting around 5 p.m. But a lot of the data that's come in since last night has sped up the storm system by a couple of hours. So for that reason, I've nudged up the start time of that supercell potential to 3 p.m. 3 p.m. is when we might start to see supercells developing to our west that eventually move into our area. Until then, I do expect some of these showers that we're seeing on radar now to fade away. And then it will be a waiting game. I know you guys hate when we say that. I don't like saying that. But that's all it is at this point, is to wait and see how much clearing we get. We don't get a ton of clearing, we can keep that instability a little lower. We can keep those temperatures a little lower. That would be enough to lower that supercell concern during the afternoon. If we get a good bit of sunshine, we warm up, we get more instability, we will have supercells develop. That is where our tornado threat will be at its highest. That's also when the large hail threat will be at its highest, from 3 p.m. to 7 p.m., with those supercells potentially rolling through. If we don't see supercells, and yes, that is still possible. If we do not see supercells, then we have no major issues until at least 7 p.m. And that is when the main line of severe storms ahead of the cold front will start to move in. 7 p.m. to 3 a.m. is the general time for that line of severe storms. Does that mean that it's going to be severe weather at your house for 8 hours tonight? No. That's just kind of a big picture window for when the storms arrive in our northern counties to the time they move out of our southern counties, since we have to factor in everybody in wave country, not just 1 or 2 counties in particular. With that line of severe storms, all severe threats still on the table, especially the damaging wind gust. 60, 70 mile per hour wind gusts, certainly possible. The hail threat with the line of severe storms isn't too terribly high, but I wouldn't rule out maybe pea, marble, maybe even quarter-size hail with the line of storms. And there will be a risk for spin-up tornadoes along the line of storms tonight. Would they be strong tornadoes along the line of storms? Possibly, but unlikely. I think they'd be more of the EF0, EF1 variety. But don't get me wrong, those are still dangerous. They just wouldn't be as intense as any strong tornadoes we might see with supercells earlier in the day. So I'll let you digest that timeline. Cameron has a very good question. How much sunshine is too much sunshine today? We won't need much. I'll tell you that. It's hard to quantify that, but it's not going to take a ton of sunshine to cause problems this afternoon. More problems than what we already expect, right? So far, the clouds are holding tough, but again, if we see that clearing in Missouri and Arkansas get here, we're going to have supercells, unfortunately. Any time frame, Christopher asked, for when watches will be issued. Hard to say. It really depends on if those supercells get going or if it looks like they're going to. If they do, I would expect a watch to be issued in the early afternoon, 2 o'clock maybe, 2 or 3. If we're not going to see any supercells, the watch would be later in the evening. I guarantee you there's going to be a tornado watch for parts of wave country today. I guarantee it. And there is a very, very high possibility we see warnings. Very high. Severe thunderstorm and tornado. Not to say that to scare you guys. Just to keep reiterating that this could be a pretty impactful round of severe storms, right? Mary asks a good question. What are supercells? They're basically these very intense thunderstorms that kind of have their own environment. In other words, there's no other storms around them. So they kind of steal all the energy away from any other storms that might try to develop nearby. And in those supercells, that's when, because it has all the energy to itself, that allows the tornado threat to go quite high with supercells, and all the other threats that come with severe weather, hail, straight line winds, things of that nature. So supercells are very intense individual storms that are out in the environment, out in the atmosphere by themselves. Good question. Let's see. Amanda says, we live in a trailer. We're going to be staying with friends in Louisville, have a basement. Just wondering what time the severe weather threat would be over so you can head back home tonight. Very good question. Let's go. I'll start off with the hour by hour breakdown, okay? We got showers at the moment, right? Nothing severe. All good for now. 3 to 7 p.m. right here. Sorry for my terrible drawing skills again. 3 to 7 p.m. is the supercell window. Those cells by themselves that could produce a higher tornado threat and hail. After 7 p.m., so from here until 3 a.m., we will have that line of severe storms rolling through. Again, it's not going to storm that entire time. The further north you are, the quicker the storms move out. So, Amanda, if you're thinking about heading back to Indiana after hanging out with your friends for the night with shelter, I would say in southern Indiana, we're done with the severe storms no later than midnight. No later than midnight. Same for Louisville. No later than midnight. The severe threat will be over. By midnight, good to go. Louisville points north. The reason we have the alert day until 3 o'clock in the morning is for our friends well south of Louisville, south of the Kentucky parkways. It looks like the storms might linger a little while longer down that way. Let me show it to you on Futurecast. Let it load up. Here we go. Here's noon. This is the HER model, the high resolution rapid refresh model. We get hourly updates on this thing, and it's a very, very great tool to have. It's doing a decent job with the showers we have right now. It was a little too much with the showers earlier this morning, but now it's getting the right idea. Could still have a few showers by noon, but you see that little sliver of clearing. It's not much, guys, but I'm telling you, it's not going to take much sun to cause additional issues today with those supercells. And you already see, as we get towards 3 o'clock, we've got those isolated supercells developing out near Evansville. They will be moving into a better environment to intensify and to possibly go severe. Any supercells that can really get their act together today will start spinning quick. So don't be surprised if we do have these supercells that we start getting tornado warnings out pretty quickly, depending on how fast they intensify. So let's keep going. This is 3 p.m. Here's 5 o'clock. Again, the HER model still signaling at that supercell concern. 3 p.m. to 7 p.m., if we see these cells develop, there will be a higher tornado threat and possibly some larger hail, maybe golf ball size in a few of these. And not everybody would see supercells today, by the way. Everybody's going to see the line of storms tonight. Not everybody's going to see these individual supercells. Those will be more isolated and likely along and north of the Kentucky Parkway. So basically, E-Town, Bardstown points north. Okay, so that's 5 p.m. 6:30, supercell threat still there, but eventually those supercells get to move on to the north and east. Then we turn our attention to the main line of severe storms. Okay, so if you're in Jasper, French Lick, Paoli, Bedford, Seymour, Salem, you guys can start to see these severe storms around 7 p.m. 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. in that ballpark, based on what the trends we've been seeing. Here in Louisville, I think the severe weather threat is at its highest by 9 o'clock with the line of severe storms, 9 p.m. through 10:30. Again, it's not going to be storming the entire 8-12 hours today, right? It's going to be a pretty quick moving system, but it can cause a serious punch as it's rolling in. So here in Louisville, I think the severe threat with the line of storms is around 9 p.m., 10 p.m. After that, notice how the line doesn't really weaken a ton. You know, a lot of times when you're talking about a line of severe storms late in the evening, they do lose that fuel. They lose that instability. They weaken. Not necessarily tonight. That instability is going to hold on. It's going to stick around. So these storms tonight will be rather intense, even as they move south into towards Litchfield, E-Town, Bardstown. I think you guys will see severe weather by 11 o'clock tonight, 10 or 11 p.m. We keep going after midnight. Severe weather in our southern counties, far southern counties. So Hart, Greene, Taylor, Adair, Marion, Mumfordville, Greensburg, Lebanon, Campbellsville, Columbia. Think around midnight Eastern time, 11 p.m. Central time, when those severe storms roll through your area. And we're done with this by 3 a.m. at the absolute latest. It'll likely be a little earlier than that. So that's the view of where things stand at this point, my friends. I'm not going to be on here too terribly long. So if you got any questions, let me know. I won't be able to get to all of them, but I'll get to a few if I can. Michelle has another good question. For those that don't see supercells today, when the line gets here tonight, will it be a little worse? Potentially. Not necessarily, extreme. If we do get, it's hard to explain. It's hard to explain, to be honest with you. I mean, the line of severe storms is really going to be aided by the forcing or the push that the cold front is giving it. Does that make sense? So that push, that forcing is rather intense as it is. So whether you've got supercells today or not, that line of severe storms is going to pack a punch. I don't really think it would be worse if we didn't see supercells. I just think it's just going to roll on through. It's going to do what it's going to do no matter what, supercells or not, later on tonight. Now, if we do have supercells, and we have quite a few of them, maybe it kind of gives it a little punch in the gut. Maybe the line weakens a smidge, but I don't want you guys to get your hopes up on that, because it'll still certainly cause some problems as it rolls through. Let's see. Michelle says she sees the sun trying to pop through in Brandenburg. Okay, good. Thanks for the report, Michelle. That's not good. That is definitely not a good sign. So we'll keep an eye on it. Victoria says, so we're thinking the severe threat should be out of Louisville by 11. Probably yes. Midnight for sure. I really think by midnight, the severe weather threat in Louisville is completely gone. 11 p.m., possibly. 11 to midnight, somewhere in there, we should be done here in Louisville. Let's see. We appreciate everybody asking about shelter here at the station. Yes, we do. We have a basement. We have a basement, so we're all good. It's a creepy basement, but it's a basement. So if we have to use it, we will. Let's see. Beth is watching us in Dayton, Ohio, and she's thinking about driving back on 71 and 75 around 4. That's a little risky, Beth. I will say that, mainly because I think the line of severe storms will be moving along I-71 by 8 or 9 o'clock. So if you can maybe bump up that departure time to like 2, you may not be able to. I understand, but if you can, that might be a good idea. Or potentially wait until 6 or 7 tonight. Leave Dayton around that time, get something to eat, and then get on 75 and 71 around 7. And then by the time you get back down here, the severe storms will be pushing south of Interstate 71. So yeah, if you can get a little earlier, get out a little earlier, I would recommend that. If not, you might want to wait a little bit later into the evening. Be careful heading home either way. Michelle's asking if we're going to, or Mitchell, I'm sorry. I saw Michelle earlier. Mitchell, I apologize, man. PDS, tornado watch today? I don't think so. Again, the tornado threat is there. We could see a strong tornado or two if we have supercells, but I don't think we're talking about a huge full-on tornado outbreak today or tonight. So I do not anticipate a particularly dangerous situation watch being issued. There will be a watch, a tornado watch. Will it be a particularly dangerous situation? I don't think so. But still, obviously, a situation that you need to be prepared for, right? Let's see. Sun's trying to peek through in Pewee Valley. Sun peeking out in Carrollton, Carlos says. That's not good. That is not good, my friends, but I appreciate the reports. They're very helpful. Haley says, how quickly could those supercells develop and become a problem? Well, good question. I mean, there you see them here on Futurecast, and they're going to get organized pretty quickly. So as soon as those cells start popping up to our west, they'll get organized and they'll start spinning pretty quickly. And they'll start having those severe characteristics. So it may only take an hour before they really get going as they move into our area. Living on the top floor of an apartment, outdoor stairs. Yeah, I'm glad you're thinking ahead. That's really good. So just make sure you have somewhere low you can go. You don't want to be in your top floor apartment, obviously. So if you can get to the first floor quickly, if you have a friend on the first floor, that's fine. If not, you probably would want to head to a friend's or neighbor's house or something like that if you could later on today. Bear with me, just looking through some of the comments, see which ones we can talk about. And remember, a lot of you asking about your particular town. If we had the time, we would do every single town, but there's hundreds of towns in Wave Country, so we can't necessarily go town by town on a busy setup like today. Just know, everybody has that risk for supercells between 3 p.m. and 7 p.m. Everybody. Every single one of you, 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. We get into the evening. The line of severe storms arrives in southern Indiana, as in Bedford, Paoli, Jasper, Seymour, Salem by 7 p.m. 8 p.m. for Tell City, English, Marengo, Corydon, Greenville, Georgetown, New Albany, Borden, Jeffersonville, Memphis, Henryville, Madison, Hanover. 9 o'clock for Louisville, Brandenburg, Hardinsburg, Shelbyville, LaGrange, Buckner, Eminence, Carrollton. 10 p.m. for Litchfield, Eatown, Bardstown, Taylorsville. 11 p.m. for Springfield, Lebanon, Mumfordville, Hodgenville. Midnight, Greensburg, Campbellsville, Columbia. There's your cliff notes of the line of severe storms hour by hour for the arrival times tonight. If you live near any of those little towns. And if you missed all that, that's okay. Once I'm done with the live stream, you can go back and replay the video so you can absorb that information quicker. Let's see. I work at a restaurant and have to close tonight. What's the safest place to go in case of a tornado? Great question. Interior hallway, closet, or bathroom, just in general, with any location, right? Be it a house or a restaurant or an office, anything like that. Depending on how your restaurant is laid out, if the kitchen is kind of in the interior part of the building, that might be a good option. If the bathrooms are in an interior part of the building, that's probably the best option. Anywhere towards the middle of the building, no windows, no outside walls. Somewhere inside the middle of the building, and you'll be okay. Good question. Let's see. Jessica says the sun is shining pretty good over in Clarksville. All right. So thank you for that report, Jessica. So based on the numerous reports you guys have said about the sun peeking out, I'm becoming more confident we're going to have supercells this afternoon. That's not to say everybody's going to have supercells. That's not to say that we will see tornadoes, but they will be in a very favorable environment to produce tornadoes this afternoon. Those supercells will be. So the longer the sun sticks around, the more problems we're going to have. All right. Lots of sunshine in Memphis, Cole says. And I don't want it. That's right. That's right. Katie, for Carrollton, the work should be done by 11. I'd say so. Yeah, 11, midnight at the absolute latest. Michaela says, any similarities to December 2021, that horrible night in December of 2021? No. Could we have stronger tornadoes like EF2 tornadoes? Yes. Will we see these gigantic, violent tornadoes? I do not believe so. No. Thank goodness. At least for tonight, thankfully. Appreciate all you guys watching. We're at 1,100 viewers on Facebook or all the social platforms. And I'm sorry if I can't get to your question. There's a lot of them here. Jacob, will the Wave Weather team go live when supercells start popping up? There will be more live streams today, yes. It's kind of a play-it-by-ear situation when it comes to staffing and who's here, who's going to be here. Do we need to be in the big studio in case we get tornado warnings? Can we hang out in here? We will have an online presence today. Don't you guys worry about that. We are not going anywhere until this is all done. We will certainly be here. Golf fans, I know we have golf today. We're supposed to on Wave. We will interrupt that golf coverage if we have to. We'll try not to, but obviously if there's tornado warnings, we'll have to interrupt that sports coverage later on today. Just giving you that heads up now, because I know a lot of you hate when we have to interrupt sports programming, but it's our job. It's our job. So just heads up for that. Let's see. Well, will there be a tornado watch? Yes, there most certainly will be. When? Probably sometime early afternoon, 2 o'clock or so would be my guess. Wendy says, I have to say I feel better knowing what you told us. I have bad anxiety in storms, but we've eased that some. Well, that's good. That's very good, Wendy. I'm glad we've made you feel more comfortable, and I hope that any of you that do battle with storm anxiety also feel a little more at ease. We're going to be fine. We're going to be fine. This is just March in the Ohio Valley. That's all this is. This is nothing out of the ordinary. We've seen far worse. We just want to keep you guys prepared. and we're going to be watching it every step of the way. So, but we appreciate you guys trusting us. Let's see. Sherry, thank you for the reminder. Please tell everybody to take care of their animals that are outside. If your pups or your cats or whatever creatures you might have, if they like to be outside, they got to be inside tonight. They got to be. And if they make a mess, so be it. I'd rather them be messy inside than stuck in the severe storms outside. So remember those friends tonight. All right. Carson, can you thank the weather crew for me? Y'all give up your day to protect us. Well, we appreciate that. It's our job. It's our job. The weather has no concept of a 5-day work week or a 2-day weekend. So it can happen anytime, anywhere. And we roll with the punches. That's all you can do in this business. But we appreciate your kind words, Jamie. Thanks. All right. Joyce says, I'm worried about today, but I'm becoming increasingly more concerned about Wednesday. And so am I, unfortunately. Let me pull up the 10-day real quick, and then I'll have to wrap this up because I'm going to try to take a little nap before things get going this afternoon. We still have the alert days for Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Guys, I'm telling you now, you need to pay attention on Wednesday. I don't say that to scare anybody. I know a lot of you are already on edge, but Wednesday's storm system looks incredibly potent, more so than today's storm system. There will likely be a severe weather outbreak nearby. Will it be in wave country? I don't know. I don't know yet. None of us do. But all of the signs suggest that there will be a significant severe weather event nearby, possibly impacting us on Wednesday. So we plead with you to pay attention to tonight, obviously, but don't let your guards down on Wednesday either. That's why the alert day's out for Wednesday. Thursday and Friday, the alert days are more so for heavy rain and flooding. There is still strong consensus among our data that there's going to be portions of the area that see 6 to 8 inches of rain this week, which would cause serious flooding concerns for Thursday, Friday, and possibly into next weekend. So that's why we have the alert days there. All right. That's in the back of our minds for now because we need to live in the present. We always need to live in the present, but especially today because we got to get through the severe setup for today first, right? A couple more questions and then I got to run. Let's see. Nikki lives in a mobile home. Should I go to the in-laws for the day starting at 3? They have a basement. Yes, I would recommend that. Just hang out there from 3 p.m. until for Clarksville, 10 or 11. And then you'll be good. So yeah, I definitely recommend that for everybody. If you live in a mobile home and you have a friend or a relative that has a site-built home, has a basement, or just has better shelter than you might, just text them. Just call them. Say, hey, we got bad storms coming in tonight. Can I just come hang out with you for the evening? If they say no, then maybe you might have to rethink their friendship. But, just call up a friend or relative. Get some better shelter for you tonight. Let's see. Rough timing for Wednesday, Melissa asked. Afternoon and evening. Very similar to today's setup, honestly. And we'll get more specifics on that once we get past tonight. Can we skip Wednesday altogether? Lord, if only. If only. Let's see. All right. I think we're going to wrap it up there. Last question here from Tyler. Any idea what wind speeds we're talking about with the main line of storms tonight? We could see wind gusts upwards of 60 to 70 miles per hour with that line of severe storms tonight. Will everybody see 60 to 70 mile per hour wind gusts? No, not at all. But a few will, and that will cause damage. So that's kind of the thinking there. All right, guys, that's going to do it for now. Again, we are not going anywhere. We are going to be here all day and all night. I think the entire team is going to be coming in at some point or another throughout the rest of the day and this evening. So trust us. We are here. We thank you for trusting us as always. We'll do another update here on the digital side of things sometime in the early afternoon, if I had to guess. I can't nail down an exact time. 2-3 o'clock hour, perhaps. And it could be a situation where we might be in the big studio instead because we have Supercells firing up and we may have to jump on TV for tornado warning coverage. So bear with us as we kind of ride the waves of whatever today's going to bring. But just keep an eye to the skies. If you have to take care of any errands or anything like that, get that done now while things are still quiet. And we'll get through this just fine. We will get through it just fine. And again, just stick with us here on the digital side, on TV, and on the Wave Weather app as well. All right, guys, that is it for now. And we will talk again here in just a few hours. Take care.